สวัสดีครับ Thank you very much for being here today. It's a bit of a special class. I will try to speak slowly. So I would really like if you don't understand some words that you just say or you do something, a sign, or so we can try to interact, we can try to exchange. That would be great. So as introduced, I'm gonna talk a bit today about environment, and I will try to use a bit of my time, but making activity. So don't make fun of me, please. I would like to start with a bit of culture. And what is very important is that we can all exchange. And then we can all participate in the light sheet for those who will like to speak with me in English. Okay, Mike? Okay. So I would like to start with celebration, because it's an important part of the culture. So I would like to share with you a bit of my background, to tell you where I'm coming from, so you can have an idea of, well, my culture, my mentality, the way I'm thinking. So I was born in France. No, not in Paris, somewhere different, but still in France. And my mother is from Denmark. Have you heard about Denmark? Yeah? So if you like football, Denmark, they won the European Championship in 1992. 21 years ago. When you were born, right? Am I? So my background is a mixed culture already, French and Danish. And I would like to take the example of celebration for Christmas. You know Christmas, right? So Christmas, I think that now you're celebrating Christmas in Thailand, but it's more in the shopping mall. It's more like at Central, right? It's not. Do any one of you celebrate Christmas at home? No? No. Okay. So our Christmas, for example, is the most important celebration in the year. So that's the moment where the family get together, and that's the moment where we take time to enjoy each other. So I would like to ask you a question. What is in the Thai culture the most important celebration in the year?
Father Day.
อะไรนะครับ
Father Day.
Father Day. Okay. And when is the Father Day?
5 December 5.
December the 5th. December the 5th. Father Day is the day when the king was born, right? Okay. And is it a moment where you all get together as a family as well? Is it on the 5th of December, on the 5th of December, is it a moment when all the family get together?
No. But Thai people in holiday for Thai people.
Songkran, yes, that's what I was expecting as well. Songkran. Timeline is very, very important. So, just to give you I would like to ask you a question. Did some of you already been to Europe? Is anyone here has been flying to Europe already? No? Okay. So I will try to explain a bit. So when we celebrate Christmas, first we buy a tree, right? The green tree, the pine tree, that is the symbol of Christmas. And then we do celebrate by doing some very nice food all together, and then we have presents. You know, presents like when you give. How do you say present in Thai? I forgot. Okay. When you give something to someone, right? So we use Christmas to do that. And then in the Danish tradition, it's a bit old school. We do like dance around the tree, like we hold hands and we dance around the tree. So it looks a bit funny, but it's a special celebration. Well, what else? Okay. Enough of the culture for now. We're going to start with the presentation of today. I would like to share with you a bit of my experience on sustainability. Has anyone here heard about sustainability? No? Sustainability, okay, we will cover that. Do you know that symbol? Have you ever seen that symbol before? Infinity, yes, that's right. Infinity. Well, if you think about the philosophy of infinity, sustainability is similar, is comparable, is the idea of closing the loop. So it perpetuates, it keeps on and on. It's not linear. It's something that is closed. It's a closed cycle. So I would like to start, well, quickly. Those are the topics we're going to see today. We're going to start with greenhouse gas emission and global warming. Greenhouse gas emission and global warming. Then we're going to talk about sustainable development or sustainability. The third topic will be on energy. Then we're going to talk about water, chemicals, solid waste pollution, and food waste. Just to give you a bit of information, my specialty is to work with hotels. So I used to go and work with the teams on how to reduce their energy consumption, how to reduce their water consumption, how to use less chemicals, how to reduce food waste, etc. This is what we call is sustainability in the hotel industry. So, let's start. I would like to start with a quick video, because I know that people usually like videos. I would like you, please, during that video, I would like you to write down when there is a word you don't understand. Can you please write down, and then we're gonna review it together and explain the new words.
Let me tell you, you were very, very bad. Very, very bad. You bad human. Do you know why you were punched in the face? Okay, let me tell you, you were punched because you are causing global warming. Do you know what global warming is? But first, clean your tears. Take this hanky. To understand global warming, you first need to understand the greenhouse effect. Do you know about the greenhouse effect? Oh, you're thinking about a house which is green. Not quite stupid. There are a few gases in the atmosphere, like carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide. These are called greenhouse gases. These greenhouse gases are good if they are in right quantity. These greenhouse gases form a layer around Earth. When rays of sun come and fall on Earth, some of them are absorbed by Earth, but most of them reflect back to the atmosphere. These reflected rays reach upper atmosphere. There, greenhouse gases take most of the heat from these rays. Some of the heat goes into space. The heat captured by greenhouse gases spreads in every direction. These heat, which has been trapped by greenhouse gases, helps to keep our Earth warm. If heat of sun is not stopped by these greenhouse gases, our Earth would freeze and average temperature would be 18 degrees Celsius. So these gases are good for Earth's survival. Otherwise, plants, animals, and we humans would have no life here. This stopping of sun heat to keep Earth warm is called greenhouse effect. So greenhouse gases are good. They trap the heat, so they help Earth to have a nice temperature so that we all can live here happily. Do you know what we humans are doing? We are increasing the amount of these greenhouse gases. We have smoke coming out of vehicles, smoke coming out of factories. In this smoke, there is a lot of methane, a lot of carbon dioxide, which are greenhouse gases. Also, do you know trees and plants breathe in carbon dioxide gas, thus reducing it from atmosphere and keeping a balance of greenhouse gases? But unfortunately, we are cutting trees too, so there are less plants to absorb greenhouse gases, but more cars and factories to increase these gases. When these greenhouse gases become more and more in atmosphere, the layer of these gases become more and more thick. So when some rays come down and get reflected back by Earth, they reach this thick layer of greenhouse gases. All these heat rays get trapped, nothing goes up into space. Temperature is increasing, Earth is becoming warmer. This is called global warming. So, now you know why you got punched. You, like all of us, are also responsible for global warming. Oh, it is too hot today. Good, you have an umbrella. You know, umbrella not only saves us from rain, it also saves us from sun rays. But do you know there is a bigger umbrella made by nature in the sky? In Earth's atmosphere, there is a layer in stratosphere. It is called ozone layer. It is about 15 kilometers above the Earth's surface. This is umbrella of the Earth. It protects our Earth from ultraviolet rays. Sun sends many kinds of rays towards all planets. Out of those ultraviolet rays are very dangerous for plants and humans. Ultraviolet rays are also called UV rays. Ozone layer umbrella absorbs these rays and protects the Earth. This ozone layer umbrella does not allow ultraviolet rays to come to Earth and harm us. Do you know the harm of ultraviolet rays? These can cause skin cancer, eye cataract, sunburns, and less plants. Do you know we humans are destroying this umbrella? By using old kind of air conditioners, old refrigerators, fire extinguishers, spray cans, we are spraying gases called CFCs. These CFCs gases destroy ozone layers by reacting with it. Ozone layer is getting badly affected by these CFC gases. There are now holes in ozone layers, so protective umbrella has no holes. So if there are holes in umbrella, UV rays would directly hit the Earth, so we humans would have less plants, more diseases. Don't worry, we can protect the ozone layer by using things which don't have CFCs.
It's normal if you didn't understand everything. I would like to hear, is there any words in particular that you would like me to explain? What are the words that you don't know from this video? I would like to hear from you. Okay, or maybe what are the words that you understood? Okay, I think there are some of those words that are a bit technical in time. I will start the video again and then we'll stop and then you tell me what you understand.
Very, very bad.
Did you understand? Okay, exactly. We try again.
Very, very bad.
Okay.
You bad human. Do you know why you were punched in the face? Okay, let me tell you. You were punished because you are causing global warming.
You are punished because you are causing global warming. So global warming, are you familiar with the concept? Have you heard the expression global warming? Can I see some hands for those who heard the word or the expression global warming? Song, Sam. Yes. Midnight. Over there, no. Okay. Global warming is just the expression to explain the concept that the Earth, the planet, is getting warmer and warmer. It's getting more hot. It's as it was presented in this video. It's the concept of the sun rays that hit the surface of the planet, like the external part of the planet, and it makes the temperature rise. I'm gonna play again and we stop regularly.
Do you know what global warming is? But first, clean your tears. Take this hanky. To understand global warming, you first need to understand the greenhouse effect.
Greenhouse effect. Have you heard about this expression? Do you mind explaining quickly, maybe in Thai?
ใครรู้จักปรากฏการณ์เรือนกระจกไหมคะใครอินไทยจะลองดูตกลงว่ารู้ใช่ไหมคะปรากฏการณ์เรือนกระจกนะคะ
So greenhouse effect is the concept of the heat coming from the sun that normally is supposed to go back to the space, it gets trapped, it gets blocked, and that's why the temperature goes up and up. That's the greenhouse effect. Greenhouse in English is, you know, in the cold country, it's not hot enough, so we built houses made of window, when made of glass, to grow some plants. That's the greenhouse. This is why it's the same effect. The temperature is higher because it's heated up by the sun.
Did you know about the greenhouse effect? Oh, you're thinking about a house which is green. They're not quite stupid. There are a few gases in atmosphere, like carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide. These are called greenhouse gases. These greenhouse gases are good if they are in right quantity. These greenhouse gases form a layer around Earth. When rays of sun come and fall on Earth, some of them are absorbed by Earth, but most of them reflect back to the atmosphere. These were...
So, did you hear, like, some of those rays from the sun are absorbed by the layer, the ozone layer, which is this part, right? So, some of it is trapped, but the rest goes back to the space. So that's why the temperature is good enough. With the greenhouse effect, more of this energy remains under the ozone and makes the temperature rise.
Reflected rays reach upper atmosphere. There, greenhouse gases take most of the heat from these rays. Some of the heat goes into space. The heat captured by greenhouse gases spreads in every direction. These heat, which has been trapped by greenhouse gases, helps to keep our Earth warm. If heat of sun is not stopped by these greenhouse gases, our Earth would freeze and average temperature would be 18 degrees Celsius. So these gases are good for Earth's survival. Otherwise, plants, animals, and we humans would have no life here. This stopping of sun heat to keep Earth warm is called greenhouse effect. So greenhouse gases are good. They trap the heat, so they help Earth to have nice temperature so that we all can live here happily. Do you know what we humans are doing? We are increasing the amount of these greenhouse gases. We have smoke coming out of vehicles, smoke coming out of factories. In this smoke, there is a lot of methane, a lot of carbon dioxide, which are greenhouse gases. Also, do you know trees and plants breathe in carbon dioxide gas, thus reducing it from atmosphere and keeping a balance of greenhouse gases? But
do you understand what the trees? Yeah, of course you heard about the trees. They help to trap the gas. They help to absorb those greenhouse gases from the atmosphere to maintain the right balance. That's why when you cut trees, there are less gas that is absorbed, so the temperature rises.
But unfortunately, we are cutting trees too, so there are less plants to absorb greenhouse gases, but more cars and factories to increase these gases. When these greenhouse gases become more and more in atmosphere, the layer of these gases become more and more thick. So when some rays come down and get reflected back by Earth, they reach this thick layer of greenhouse gases. All these heat rays get trapped, nothing goes up into space. Temperature is increasing, Earth is becoming warmer. This is called global warming. So, now you know why you got punched. You, like all of us, are also responsible for global warming. Oh, it is too hot today. Good, you have an umbrella. You know, umbrella not only saves us from rain, it also saves us from sun rays. But do you know there is a bigger umbrella made by nature in the sky? In Earth's atmosphere, there is a layer in stratosphere. It is called ozone layer. It is about 15 kilometers above the Earth's surface. This is umbrella of the Earth. It protects our Earth from ultraviolet rays. Sun sends many kinds of rays towards all planets. Out of those ultraviolet rays are very dangerous for plants and humans. Ultraviolet rays are also called UV rays. Ozone layer umbrella absorbs these rays and protects the Earth.
Ultraviolet rays. You heard about it? UV. You know, when you buy sunscreen, you know, when you don't want to get burned by the sun, you might buy sunscreen, and the sunscreen is to help protect against the UV. So UV stands for ultraviolet rays. So the rays are those coming from the sun, right?
This ozone layer umbrella does not allow ultraviolet rays to come to Earth and harm us. Do you know the harm of ultraviolet rays? These can cause skin cancer, eye cataract, sunburns, and less plants. Do you know we humans are destroying this umbrella? By using old kind of air conditioners, old refrigerators, fire extinguishers, spray cans, we are spraying gases called CFCs. These CFCs gases destroy ozone layers by reacting with it. Ozone layer is getting badly affected by these CFC gases. There are now holes in ozone layers, so protective umbrella has no holes. So if there are holes in umbrella, UV rays would directly hit the Earth, so we humans would have less plants, more diseases. Don't worry, we can protect the ozone layer by using things which don't have CFCs.
Is there any other words you would like to have explained? All the rest is clear. Beautiful. We're gonna continue with a bit of a quiz. So I give you one question, and I would like you to select the right answers. Yeah, you can select D, really, if you didn't understand. So one, two, three, or four answers. You can select them all, or you can decide that none of them are true. So please take 2 minutes, and based on the video we have seen, which of the answer A, B, C, or D is correct? Did you say B? Okay. How many of you believe that the answer A is the right answer? Please raise your hand. Nobody? Okay. Who believe that the answer B, which is greenhouse gases are bad, is the right answer? Okay, about 25%. Who believe that the answer C is the right answer? Okay. And please tell me someone select the answer D. Make us ITT. Anyone? No? Okay. So, greenhouse gases are good. So, answer B is wrong. Is, as we have seen, greenhouse gases are good for us. And the second good answer is the answer C is good only if in the right quantity. If there is too much greenhouse gases, then the temperature keeps on rising and then it's becoming too hot. That's a good beginning. Question number 2. What would happen if there was no greenhouse gases? Answer A, nothing, life would be the same. Answer B, there will be no plants, animal, or humans on the planet. Answer C, the temperature on the planet would be minus 18 degrees. Answer D, we would be skiing in Lephilibert. Please take a minute to answer correctly to this question. So, what would happen if there was no greenhouse gas on the planet? Who believe that the answer A is correct? Nothing, life would be the same. Anyone? Good. Who believe that the answer B is correct? There will be no plants, animals, or human on the planet. Okay. Answer C. The temperature would be minus 18 degrees. Okay. Answer D would be skiing in Lephilibert. Good. Okay. Now the right answers to that question. What would happen if there was no greenhouse gas around the planet? There will be no plants, animals, or humans on the planet because the temperature would be way too low. Actually, the temperature would be minus 18, as you said. And actually, yes, maybe we would be skiing in Lephilibert, but we don't know. Question number 3. What are humans doing to create global warming? Answer A. We use old air conditioning all day long at very low temperature with open windows. We build factories that do not filter the air pollution. Answer C. They or we cut trees and do not replant. And answer D. Humans are not contributing to global warming. It's a myth. It's a legend. First, do you understand all the words in the question? Are there any words that you're not certain to understand the meaning? Do you know this word? Do you know this word, myth? Ever heard about it? My legend?
มีใครเข้าใจไหมคะlegend มีคนบอกข้างหน้าว่าตำนานใช่ไหมคะนี่ก็คือเป็นความเชื่อที่ผิด
For example, in Europe, there is a legend that some monsters live in the mountains. This is a legend. This is an old story told by the old people. Okay, so what are humans doing to create global warming? Who believe that the answer A is correct? Nobody? Sing on. Okay. Who believe that the answer B is correct? Human, they build factories that do not filter the air pollution. Good. Answer C, human cut trees and do not replant. Good. Or answer D, humans are not contributing to global warming. Interesting. Okay, the first right answer is the A. You don't remember during the presentation they were explaining that old equipment, old air conditioning, old spray cans, old expired extinguisher, like this one. This one is new, but the old one, they use some gas that creates global warming. So I use the example of old air conditioning that is used with very low temperature, it consumes a lot of energy and creates some greenhouse gas. The second good answer is the B. We build factories and we do not filter the air, which means that the pollution, as you can see over here, is that you have seen in your life, I'm sure sometimes you drive around and you see the big smoke getting off the factory. And the right answer is the C as well, as we have seen during the video that the trees, they absorb some of the gas and they trap it, so it doesn't go on the ozone layer. And the D was the wrong answer. Final question of the super quiz. What can you, every one of you, what can you do to prevent global warming? Nothing. Maybe I. Answer B. Check that equipment at home do not use CFC. Answer C. Stop using your car or motorcycle all the time for very short distance. Instead, you can walk or use a bicycle. Answer D. Turn off lights, computers, TV, DVDs, etc. Or E. Use energy efficient equipment. Who believe that the answer A is correct? That you in your daily life has nothing to do with global warming? Anyone? No? Answer B. Who believe that you can check that equipments at home do not use CFC? Okay. Answer C. Stop using your car, motorcycle all the time for very short distance. D. Turn off lights, computer, TV, DVD. Okay. And answer E. Use energy efficient equipment. Okay. Well, the good answer is the B. Obviously you at home go and check that the fire extinguisher, the spray cans, the AC, the fridge are not using CFC. That's something you can do. Stop using your motorcycle. It's easy, you can walk. I know you can't, but it's not far. Answer D, you can turn off your equipment. You don't have to leave your TV on when you are in another room, or you don't need to leave the air conditioning running if you're leaving the house. It's easy, you can just turn it off. And finally, use energy efficient equipment. As you all know, this one, the 5, I don't know how it is called, energy saving number 5. If you decide to change some equipment at home, this is something you can do. Okay, so now you've got a bit of an overview. In the handouts you have been given, or you just received this one. This is a small exercise. So the first one, I would like you to have a look at this diagram. And I would like you to explain what you see on this diagram with the best way you can. More or less 100 words. And I will give you, 20 minutes. 20 minutes to do that. So you try to describe what we have been discussing about, the concept of global warming and greenhouse gas emissions, using the information on the diagram. And I would like you to write about 100 words. Do we do groups? Okay, we're gonna do some groups. Yeah, groups are good. How many groups can we do? Groups of 5. Can you make some groups of 5, please? Huh? Oh, okay, you already know which group you're with? Everyone, yes?
Yeah.
Even you at the end, yes, you know? Okay, man? Okay, 20 minutes please, and try to write 100 words. have a bit of time later, but we're gonna move on to the next topic. So if you can please leave what you're writing for now, and then later you can finish it. Bye-bye. The exercise number 2, the one on your handout. On this page, you have been working on the exercise number 1. So exercise number 2, we won't do it now. Maybe later, but not right now, okay? Now we're gonna move on to another topic. We're gonna switch that exercise as well. But what was important for me in that first presentation about greenhouse gases is to explain that you have a role to play. Everyone has a role to play. It's something that is related to us in our daily life and the way we just live. Does anyone here in this class believe that they have nothing to do with global warming? I just would like to discuss, debate. Does anyone here believe that greenhouse gas emissions and global warming is not their problem and they don't have anything to do with it? I'm just curious. Anyone? No? Good. Okay, I would like to approach the second topic, which is sustainable development. You remember the sign on the first slide? I asked you if you knew that sign, the one which, as you said, was infinity. The concept of the closed loop. This is related to sustainable development. Sustainable development, you can use either sustainable development or sustainability. It's the same concept. So, quickly, this is a definition of sustainable development. I'd like you just to take a minute and read it. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. What's that mean? Are there any words here that looks weird? You know the word development, right? Something no. Time, development. Yeah. You know the words, the needs. When you need something unique for your, just to survive for your life, to meet the needs is to be able, like, to survive and keep on living. So sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability. Ability, do you know that word? Those who don't know some words, please just take time to type it on your tablet or your iPhone or whatever. They are important words. It would be good for you to have the translation. Ability. So, to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This has been a definition from this commission back to 1987. That's when the international community started to realize, wow, we have a problem. We are going to the wrong direction. And they got together, and the UN, you know the UN, right? United Nations. They got together and they started to think about global warming, about the problem that we as a planet were facing. So, to illustrate that definition, I would like to show you another quick video. It's very short. Again, please take some notes. If you hear some words you're not sure about the translation, just write it down and then we can discuss or explain what it means.
Sustainability means that things can keep going, can sustain themselves, can continue into the future and go on forever. From a human perspective, sustainability for our planet means that it can continue to do what it was designed to do: provide fresh air, clean water, produce food, and allow us all to have a high quality of life forever. Unsustainability means that it cannot, and that is where we are now. 20 years ago, scientists in Sweden developed a definition for sustainability with 4 basic principles. These can be seen as the care instructions for our planet. If we follow them, it is good for our planet, and because we're part of the system that is our planet, it's good for us too. The care instructions are as follows: reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and heavy metals, reduce our dependence on synthetic chemicals that persist in nature, reduce our destruction of nature, ensure we are not stopping people globally from meeting their needs. Demand for the Earth's services, clean air, water, food, increases as the population increases and living standards rise, but the Earth's ability to provide these services is declining because of the way we're living. In our search for prosperity, growth and success, we are destroying the system that we as humans are completely dependent upon: nature. We humans have become a threat to our own way of life. The Earth is a system and everything is connected: society, environment and economy. To live sustainably, we need to follow the 4 care instructions and apply them to everything we do at home and at work. If we can follow these care instructions, we can work together to be sustainable. We will all have a better quality of life. We will waste less, we will pollute less, and we will create more things we value in society, while improving our planet's chances of providing us with the very things we need to survive.
He speaks a bit fast, right? Okay. We will, yeah. It was too high, no? The volume was too high. Did you understand when the guy talks? Good. We're gonna do it again a little bit. Well, it speaks a bit fast, right? But I would like you to try to focus on the words to see if you understand the concept. And if you don't understand the words, try to write it down, and then we can review it. I'm gonna play the video again, and with the noise a bit lower, and then you tell me if you understand.
Sustainability means that things can keep going, can sustain themselves, can continue into the future and go on forever. From a human perspective, sustainability for our planet means that it can continue to do what it was designed to do: provide fresh air, clean water, produce food, and allow us all to have a high quality of life forever. Unsustainability means that it cannot, and that is where we are now. 20 years ago, scientists in Sweden developed a definition for sustainability with 4 basic principles. These can be seen as the care instructions for our planet. If we follow them, it is good for our planet, and because we're part of the system that is our planet, it's good for us too. The care instructions are as follows: reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and heavy metals, reduce our dependence on synthetic
reduce our destruction of nature, ensure we are not stopping people globally from meeting their needs. Demand for the Earth's services, clean air, water, food, increases as the population increases and living standards rise, but the Earth's ability to provide these services is declining because of the way we're living. In our search for prosperity, growth and success, we are destroying the system that we as humans are completely dependent upon, nature. We humans have become a threat to our own way of life. The Earth is a system and everything is connected: society, environment and economy. To live sustainably, we need to follow the 4 care instructions and apply them to everything we do at home and at work. If we can follow these care instructions, we can work together to be sustainable. We will all have a better quality of life, we will waste less, we will pollute less, and we will create more things we value in society, while improving our planet's chances of providing us with the very things we need to survive.
What do you think of that video? Do you learn anything? Or is it something you knew before? Is it interesting? Is it boring? Is it too simple? Too complicated? Or make your anxiety thinking? Okay. So, I would like to know, did you write down some words from this presentation? Did you write any words that you didn't know? Do you remember which part? And if you take specific words, I just jotted down a couple of words. I'm wondering, not sure about fossil fuel. There is an E, fossil, right? Fossil fuel. I wrote it as an E. Yeah. Okay, I made a mistake here. I write the French. That's the French way. Fossil fuel as an E at the end. Does anyone know about fossil fuels? I know that some of you know because I saw it written down on your essay. Fossil fuels are the source of energy that we are using, for example, to drive our cars. Petrol is fossil fuel. Fossil is, well, okay, it's a bit complicated. We'll see it later. It's easier when you see the video. Does everybody knows what the living standards are? No? Living standards is, you can, as a synonym, you can use the quality of life. Is more or less, the standard is the level, if you want. So the living standard is the quality of life. Yeah, it would be like how much, if you have a car, if you have a house, if you have some money, if you're happy, living standard. Ability. Remember we talked about ability earlier? Ability is the... Does anyone know a synonymous for ability? The same word that means the same? Ability? Can, yes. Ability is when you can do something, when you are enabled to do something. Declining? Does anyone know this word, declining? Declining is when it's decreasing, going downwards. Declining. Do you know what is the opposite word for declining? You have an idea, right? Yeah, that's correct. The opposite of declining is increasing, like declining, increasing. Prosperity. Does anyone know about this word, prosperity? You all have your iPhones with you, so you all know what it means. Prosperity is like welfare, is how it's like the well-being, how happy you are. If you take it like more largely, prosperity is wealth. Wealth, okay, prosperity is like when something is working well and you are having some, for example, if your business is prosperous, that means that the business is doing well, right? You are making a lot of money, and that means you are prosperous. Did you write any other words on the video? Some words you might not know. Did you write any words at all? No. Okay. Do you have any remarks on the video, like who find the... I'm just curious, I would like to hear from you. Who find this type of video interesting? Does anyone here find this type of video interesting? Nobody. No? Okay, I will no longer show it. Okay, the concept of sustainability. Who believe in this class that they have anything to do with sustainability in their daily life? Sustainability, so if you take the drawing again, is how do you balance the economy, the environment, and the social? How do you make sure that you are trying to reach this balance? It's not only focusing on making more money, it's as well taking into account the environment and the people, right? This is what we call sustainability or sustainable development. Do you believe that you, in your daily life, you have anything to do with sustainability? Okay, we'll move on, we'll see. same as the exercise before, a group of 5 people. I want you to take 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, and I would like you to write down some sentences about sustainability and how do you think you have anything to do with sustainability in your daily life, or is it something that has nothing to do with you? Can you make some groups of 5 people and you write down some sentences on how sustainability, this one, has something to do with you? Just to explain more clearly what I want to say. For example, in my daily life, if I decide to go to, I live in Bangkok, if I decide to go to Chatuchak, I can go by taxi or I can go by BTS. And I will try to go by BTS because I think it's more sustainable. You don't need to burn fossil fuels, you don't need to create more traffic jam, you use the public transport, it has less gas emission. This is sustainability. This is how sustainability is integrated in my daily life. So I would like you to think how sustainability can be or is integrated in your daily life. It can be think about transport, think about your consumption, think about your waste, for example. Think about transport, consumption. Try to think in your normal day, from the moment you wake up to the evening, how do you integrate sustainability in your life? And group by 5. sentences I've been reading in the different groups. We're gonna take a 10 minutes break. Just 10 minutes please, not 20 minutes. And then we're gonna have the last part before finishing. Okay? 10 minutes break and then you come back please. Just before we move on to the next topic, I would like some of the group to share about why they believe they have a role to play in their daily life about sustainability. I saw some good examples in some of the groups, like some of you read your answer. Who would battery laying down? Beautiful. Okay, so I would like some of you to read about daily life? No? Okay. Can you read your answer? Please.
When we buy something at the market or shopping mall, we choose the bag from fabric.
Very good, yes. Instead
Of use plastic bag, because the plastic bag use of many energy and had to decompose. This result in polluted. The environment, but if we ask for back from we can save the money and protect the environment.
Thank you. Very good example. Did you hear what they use as an example when they go shopping? Instead of taking plastic bags, they take the bags made of fabric. You know, the solid bags, the one you can reuse again. So you don't consume plastic bags just once and then throw it away. You can reuse the same one. Very good example of sustainability in your daily life. Another example? Right? Example of daily life sustainability.
our daily life, we have classes every day. We always go to our faculty by motorcycle. Sometimes we have to change class to another building which is near there. We decide to walk instead to use the motorcycle. This way can reduce pollution from motorcycles across pipe, which has a lot of carbon dioxide and make us healthiness by walking. Moreover, our university has other choices such as energy cabs or bicycle for students. That's more sustainable.
Excellent. Very good. That was a very good example as well. Transportation, how to think every time you want to go somewhere. Okay, do I have an alternative? Can I use a mean of transportation that is less polluting, that is probably less costly, that costs less money, and you can, it makes you healthier as well, as you said. You walk or you use a bicycle, it's cool, somebody's by, you have time. It's a very good example, thank you very much. Anyone else want to share one of their daily life sustainability? Anyone? No? Anyone?
My sentence is overload the use of lights. Nowadays, the people are used a lot of the energy. The lights or electricity were used too much. So it is one of the causes of global warming. So how to solve the problem? We will reduce the use of light by using power sparingly. Example, in this time we are unnecessarily the use of light, so we will reducing the use by turn off the lights and turn on in the night time. Thank you.
This is another good example. Try to think every time you turn on the light. Okay, do I need to have all the lights on? If I'm just working on my desk, can I just use one light? Is it enough? Okay, then I switch off the other. It's just a question of thinking. If you start thinking in everything you do, you can see sustainability. You can see, oh, okay, I don't need to do that. I can think a bit, oh, okay, I need only one light, that's fine. So you're reducing your energy consumption, so you're polluting less, and you save money, which is quite interesting. Thank you very much for the examples. Just
My name is Lephilibert. My home is house for the use of power consumption. In the simple turn off lights when not in use. Open air condition 25 Celsius. Wall insulation, planting trees around the house.
Very good. Thank you. So the idea is to walk, right? To plant trees and to use equipment efficiently, or to use to turn up the lights, right? Right. Okay. Thank you very much. So quickly, I would like to share with you another example of why it is important to save energy and to reduce your energy consumption. So energy consumption creates air pollution. Do you know why? It's because the electricity that you are using in your house in Thailand is produced by burning fossil fuels. So basically, this lights, this TV, all the energy used here, 90% is coming from burning fossil fuels. So it creates pollution. This is just Thailand. The energy coming from the grid, from the network to every houses, 90% comes from burning fossil fuels. And only 2% come from hydraulic power. You know what hydraulic power is? Is the energy produced when you build a dam on the river, you know, using the energy from the river to create electricity. So air pollutions, as we've seen, create global warmings, right? Which creates climate change. We haven't talked about climate change, but you all know what climate change can do. You all remember the floods in Thailand and how devastating it was. And the floods obviously had a huge impact on the people, but as well on the economy. Those are the tourists. The year after the floods, there was a drop of 20% of the tourists coming to Thailand. And you know how important tourism is for Thailand, right? And there was a drop in the economy. The economy suffered greatly from the floods. Some factories were totally ruined. They had to stop operating for months. So it has a huge impact on the economy. So this is how you have to think. Energy is not only money. Energy has multiple effects. While you should care about tourists, initially this is for, well, mainly for people working in the hotel industry or hospitality industry. But it is quite important to remember, when less tourists come to Thailand, there is a real decrease in the income for the whole economy. And this has an impact either on you, if you're working in this industry, or in your community indirectly. Tourism represents 6% of Thai GDP, which is like if you take the whole income of the country, 6%, it's not that much, but still. But more importantly, many people rely on tourism for their income. Many people make their money thanks to the tourists, the Balang. They come to Thailand and they spend money. So this is why it's important to think about the impact on the tourists as well. Tourism accounts for 6% of Thailand GDP, but a large share of the population has an income relying on tourism for its livelihood. How do you translate livelihood? Way of living. Yeah, livelihood is the way of living. It's like, you remember we talk about living standard. It's comparable. We're gonna. How much time do we have left? Okay, we're gonna skip that part, unfortunately, because water is something that most of the people, they don't think about. They're like, water, doesn't cost much, it's okay, there is lots of water outside, but it's an important topic which is often forgotten. People, they don't think how important life is. So we won't look at it today because we don't have time, but I would go quickly, just quickly through that. High water consumption results in drought. Drought is, when there is a lack of rainfall, which result in bad yields. The crops, they need a lot of water. Not enough water means bad yields. And bad yields, they result in a higher food price. The price of the food rises. High water consumption means high electricity consumption. And this is something as well which is hard to understand, because most of the people believe that water, when you consume water, it doesn't consume electricity, but it's wrong. This water has to be pumped from underground most of the time. It has to be transported. It has to be filtered or cleaned. Then it is brought to every houses. Then, once you or anyone uses it, it has to be, again, filtered most of the time. So everything, all those parts, they consumes energy. So that's why consuming water means consuming energy as well. And another aspect is like when the water is not treated, is pollution of the water. And again, the tourists, bye-bye. Quickly about the chemicals, saying pollution of water. The kids, if you have been to Bangkok, you see that sometimes they swim in the Klong when the water is not clean, has been polluted, which results like health disease. Pollution of the water means it impacts the biodiversity, it impacts all the fishes in the water. So many people rely on fishing for their livelihood, for their daily income. It means as well, again, impact on like the fauna and the flora, and again, the tourists, they just go somewhere else. Quickly, health effects of pollution. How pollution does affect the human body. It is quite important just to keep it in mind, because again, it's not only about the money, it's not only about the fish or the trees, it's as well about you guys, and your health, and that's very important. So I won't go into details here because it's quite technical, but basically air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, which is directly related to chemicals and directly related to waste. So the last part of today's presentation I want to spend with you is related to waste management. Has anyone seen that it's a reversed pyramid? Has anyone seen that pyramid before? Okay, not the line. So this is the most preferred option when it comes to waste. Waste pollution, solid waste. Waste inside. Kaya. So this is when you think about you buying something, you try to think this way. First, do I need to buy it? Is it something I really need? Or can I find another solution? Ask for a friend to give it to me, or can I just do something else? Avoid. Avoid means to not do. Second option is to reduce. You know reduce, right? Reduction. Is try to minimize. Minimize is another word. Reuse. Do you need to throw things away? Do you need to, for example, your DVD player is not working. Do you need to put it in the bin and buy a new one? Can you just not repair it? This is reuse. Recycle. You all heard about recycling. Recycle, I can give you another example, is the plastic bottles. You know that if you collect all the plastic bottles and give it to the right recycling company, they can make some other stuff with your plastic bottles. For example, they can make carpets. This carpet, for example, is most likely made with a certain amount of plastic. They can make shirts. They can make other bottles. They can make so many things. So this is recycling. And finally, the last option is dispose. This is when you don't have any other alternative. It's just to throw away. But that's why this is the least preferred option. This is the preferred option, and this is the least preferred option. So I'm going to show you now a quick video, which is quite interesting. We decided to show it to you with Thai subtitles. So it's a good exercise. I would like you to look at the video, read the subtitles, and try to see which words you don't know, and write it down. That would be a good exercise. And please write the name, the reference of the video, because I think it's a very important one, and it would be good for you to watch it again at home or anywhere online.
Comes from, where it goes when we throw it out. I couldn't stop wondering about that, so I looked it up. And what the textbook said is that stuff moves through a system from extraction to production to distribution to consumption to disposal. All together, it's called the materials economy. Well, I looked into it a little bit more. In fact, I spent 10 years traveling the world, tracking where our stuff comes from and where it goes. And you know what I found out? That is not the whole story. There is a lot missing from this explanation. For one thing, this system looks like it's fine. No problem. But the truth is, it's a system in crisis. And the reason it's a system in crisis is it's a linear system, and we live on a finite planet. And you cannot run a linear system on a finite planet indefinitely. Every step along the way, this system is interacting with the real world. In real life, it's not happening on a blank white page. It's interacting with societies, cultures, economies, the environment. And all along the way, it's bumping up against limits. Limits we don't see here because the diagram is incomplete. So let's go back through. Let's fill in some of the blanks and see what's missing. Well, one of the most important things that's missing is people. Yes, people. People live and work all along this system. And some people in this system matter a little more than others. Some have a little more say. Who are they? Well, let's start with the government. Now, my friends tell me I should use a tank to symbolize the government, and that's true in many countries and increasingly in our own. After all, more than 50% of our federal tax money is now going to the military. But I'm using a person to symbolize the government because I hold true to the vision and values the government should be of the people, by the people, for the people. It's the government's job to watch out for us, to take care of us. That's their job. Then, along came the corporation. Now, the reason the corporation looks bigger than the government is that the corporation is bigger than the government. Of the 100 largest economies on Earth now, 51 are corporations. And as the corporation has grown in size and power, we've seen a little change in the government, but they're a little more concerned in making sure everything's working out for those guys than for us. Okay, so let's see what else is missing from this thing. We'll start with extraction. exploitation, which is a fancy word for trashing the planet. What this looks like is we chop down the trees, we blow up mountains to get the metals inside, we use up all the water, and we wipe out the animals. So here, we are running up against our first limit. We are running out of resources. We are using too much stuff. Now, I know this can be hard to hear, but it's the truth, so we've got to deal with it. In the past 3 decades alone, 1/3 of the planet's natural resource base has been consumed. Gone. We are cutting and mining and hauling and trashing the place so fast that we're undermining the planet's very ability for people to live here. Where I live, in the United States, we have less than 4% of our original forest left. 40% of the waterways have become undrinkable. And our problem is not just that we're using too much stuff, but we're using more than our share. We have 5% of the world's population, but we're using 30% of the world's resources and creating 30% of the world's waste. If everybody consumed at U.S. rates, we would need 3 to 5 planets. And you know what? We've only got 1. So my country's response to this limitation is simply to go take somebody else's. This is the third world, which some would say is another word for our stuff that somehow got on somebody else's land. So what does that look like? The same thing, trashing the place. 75% of global fisheries now are fished at or beyond capacity. 80% of the planet's original forests are gone. In the Amazon alone, we're losing 2,000 trees a minute. That is 7 football fields a minute. And what about the people who live here? Well, according to these guys, they don't own these resources, even if they've been living there for generations. They don't own the means of production, and they're not buying a lot of the stuff. And in this system, if you don't own or buy a lot of stuff, you don't have value. The materials move to production. And what happens here is we use energy to make toxic chemicals in with the natural resources to make toxic contaminated products. There are over 100,000 synthetic chemicals in use in commerce today. Only a handful of them have even been tested for health impacts, and none have been tested for synergistic health impacts. That means when they interact with all the other chemicals we're exposed to every day. So we don't know the full impact on health and the environment of all these toxic chemicals, but we do know one thing. Toxics in, toxics out. As long as we keep putting toxics into our industrial production systems, we're going to keep getting toxics in the stuff that we bring into our homes and workplaces and schools and our bodies. Like BFRs, brominated flame retardants, they're a chemical that makes things more fireproof, but they are super toxic. They're neurotoxin. That means toxic to the brain. What are we even doing using a chemical like this? Yet we put it in our computers, our appliances, couches, mattresses, even some pillows. In fact, we take our pillows, we douse them in a neurotoxin, we bring them home and put our heads on them for 8 hours a night to sleep. I don't know, but it seems to me in this country with so much potential, we could think of a better way to stop our heads from catching on fire at night. Now these toxics build up the food chain and concentrate in our bodies. Do you know what is the food at the top of the food chain with the highest level of many toxic contaminants? Human breast milk. That means that we've reached a point where the smallest members of our societies, our babies, are getting the highest lifetime dose of toxic chemicals from breastfeeding from their mothers. Is that not an incredible violation? Breastfeeding must be the most fundamental human act of nurturing. It should be sacred and safe. Now, breastfeeding is still best, and mothers should definitely keep breastfeeding, but we should protect it. They should protect it. I thought they were looking out for us. And of course, the people who bear the biggest brunt of these toxic chemicals are the factory workers, many of whom are women of reproductive age. They're working with reproductive toxins, carcinogens, and more. Now I ask you, what kind of woman of reproductive age would work in a job exposed to reproductive toxins except for a woman with no other option? And that's one of the beauties of this system. The erosion of local environments and economies here ensures a constant supply of people with no other option. Globally, 200,000 people a day are moving from environments that have sustained them for generations into cities, many to live in slums, looking for work, no matter how toxic that work may be. So you see, it's not just resources that are wasted along this system, but people too. Whole communities get wasted. Yep, toxics in, toxics out. A A lot of the toxics leave the factories and products, but even more leave as byproducts or pollution. And it's a lot of pollution. In the U.S., our industry admits to releasing over 4 billion pounds of toxic chemicals a year. There's probably a lot more, because that's only what they admit. So that's another limit, because yuck, who wants to look at and smell 4 billion pounds of toxic chemicals a year? So what do? Move the dirty factories overseas, pollute someone else's land. But surprise, a lot of that pollution is coming right back at us, carried by wind currents. So what happens after all these natural resources are turned into products? Well, it moves here for distribution. Now, distribution means selling all the toxic contaminated junk as quickly as possible. The goal here is to keep the prices down, keep the people buying, and keep the inventory moving. How do they keep the prices down? Well, they don't pay the store workers very much, and they skimp on health insurance every time they can. It's all about externalizing the cost. What that means is the real costs of making stuff aren't captured in the price. In other words, we aren't paying for the stuff we buy. I was thinking about this the other day. I was walking to work and I wanted to listen to the news, so I popped into a Radio Shack to buy a radio. I found this cute little green radio for $4.99. I was standing there in line to buy this thing, and I was thinking, how could $4.99 possibly capture the cost of making this radio and getting it into my hands? The metal was probably mined in South Africa. The petroleum was probably drilled in Iraq. The plastics were probably produced in China. And maybe the whole thing was assembled by some 15-year-old in a maquiladora in Mexico. $4.99 wasn't even pay the rent for the shelf space it occupied until I came along, let alone part of the staff guy's salary to help me pick it out, or the multiple ocean cruises and truck rides pieces of this radio went on. That's how I realized I didn't pay for the radio. So who did pay? Well, these people paid for the loss of their natural resource space. These people paid for the loss of their clean air with increasing asthma and cancer rates. Kids in the Congo paid with their future. 30% of the kids in the Congo now have dropped out of school to mine coltan, a metal we need for our cheap and disposable electronics. These people even paid by having to cover their own health insurance. All along this system, people pitched in so I could get this radio for $4.99. And none of these contributions are recorded in any accounts book. That's what I mean by the company owners externalize the true cost of production. This too, the golden era of consumption. This is the heart of the system, the engine that drives it. It is so important that protecting this arrow has become the top priority for both of these guys. That's why after 9/11, when our country was in shock, and President Bush could have suggested any number of appropriate things, to grieve, to pray, to hope. No, he said to shop, to shop. We have become a nation of consumers. Our primary identity has become that of being consumers, not mothers, teachers, farmers, but consumers. The primary way that our value is measured and demonstrated is by how much we contribute to this arrow, how much we consume. And do we? We shop and shop and shop, keep the materials flowing, and flow they do. Guess what percentage of total materials flow through this system is still in product reviews 6 months after the day of sale in North America? 50%? 20? No. 1%. 1. In other words, 99% of the stuff we harvest, mine, process, transport, 99% of the stuff we run through the system is trashed within 6 months. Now how can we run a planet with that level of material throughput? It wasn't always like this. The average US person now consumes twice as much as they did 50 years ago. Ask your grandma. In her day, stewardship and resourcefulness and thrift were valued. So how did this happen? Well, it didn't just happen. It was designed. Shortly after World War II, these guys were figuring out how to ramp up the economy. Retailing analyst Victor Lebeau articulated the solution that's become the norm for the whole system. He said, our enormously productive economy demands that we make consumption our way of life, that we convert the buying and use of goods into rituals, that we seek our spiritual satisfaction, our ego satisfaction in consumption. We need things consumed, burned up, replaced, and discarded at an ever-accelerating rate. President Eisenhower's Council of Economic Advisors chairman said that the American economy's ultimate purpose is to produce more consumer goods. More consumer goods? Our ultimate purpose? not provide health care or education or safe transportation or sustainability or justice? Consumer goods? How did they get us to jump on board this program so enthusiastically? Well, two of their most effective strategies are planned obsolescence and perceived obsolescence. Planned obsolescence is another word for designed for the dump. It means they actually make stuff to be useless as quickly as possible, so we'll chuck it and buy a new one. It's obvious with things like plastic bags and coffee cups, but now it's even big stuff. Mops, DVDs, cameras, barbecues, even everything. Even computers. Have you noticed that when you buy a computer now, the technology is changing so fast that in just a couple of years, it's actually an impediment to communication? I was curious about this, so I opened up a big desktop computer to see what was inside. And I found out that the piece that changes each year is just a tiny little piece in the corner. But you can't just change that one piece because each new version is a different shape. So you've got to chuck the whole thing and buy a new one. So I was reading industrial design journals in the 1950s when planned obsolescence was really catching on. These designers are so open about it. They actually discuss how fast can they make stuff break that still leaves the consumer having enough faith in the product to go out and buy another one. It was so intentional. But stuff cannot break fast enough to keep this arrow afloat. So there's also perceived obsolescence. Now, perceived obsolescence convinces us to throw away stuff that is still perfectly useful. How do they do that? Well, they change the way the stuff looks. So if you bought your stuff a couple of years ago, everyone can tell that you haven't contributed to this arrow recently. And since the way we demonstrate our value is contributing to this arrow, it can be embarrassing. Like, I've had the same fat white computer monitor on my desk for 5 years. My coworker just got a new computer. She has a flat, shiny, sleek monitor. It matches her computer, it matches her phone, even her pen stand. She looks like she's driving a spaceship Central, and I look like a washing machine on my desk. Fashion is another prime example of this. Have you ever wondered why women's shoe heels go from fat one year to skinny the next to fat and skinny? It's not because there's some debate about which heel structure is the most healthy for women's feet. It's because wearing fat heels and a skinny heel a year shows everybody that you haven't contributed to that arrow recently, so you're not as valuable as that person with skinny heels next to you, or more likely in some ad, is to keep us buying new shoes. Advertising and media in general plays a big role in this. Each of us in the U.S. is targeted with over 3,000 advertisements a day. We see more advertisements in 1 year than people 50 years ago saw in a lifetime. And if you think about it, what's the point of an ad except to make us unhappy with what we have? So 3,000 times a day, we're told our hair is wrong, our skin is wrong, our clothes are wrong, our furniture is wrong, our car is wrong, and we are wrong, but it can all be made right if we just go shopping. Media also helps behind all of this and all of this. So the only part of the materials economy we see is the shopping. The extraction, production, and disposal all happen outside of our field of vision. National happiness is actually declining. Our national happiness peaked in the 1950s, the same time that this consumption mania exploded. Interesting coincidence. I think I know why. We have more stuff, but we have less time for the things that really make us happy. Friends, family, leisure time. We're working harder than ever. Some analysts say we have less leisure time than any time since feudal society. And do you know what the two main activities are that we do with the scant leisure time we have? Watch TV and shop. In the U.S., we spend 3 to 4 times as many hours shopping as our counterparts in Europe do. So we're in this ridiculous situation where we go to work, maybe 2 jobs, and then we come home and we're exhausted, so we plop down on our new couch and watch TV, and the commercials tell us you suck, so you gotta go to the mall to buy something to feel better, and then you gotta go to work more to pay for the stuff you just bought, so you come home and you're more tired, so you sit down and you watch more TV until you go to the mall again, and we're on this crazy work, watch, spend treadmill, and we could just stop. So in the end, what happens to all the stuff we buy anyway? At this rate of consumption, it can't fit into our houses, even though the average house size has doubled in this country since the 1970s. It all goes out in the garbage. And that brings us to disposal. This is the part of the materials economy we all know the most because we have to haul the junk out to the curb ourselves. Each of us in the United States makes 4.5 pounds of garbage a day. That's twice what we each made 30 years ago. All of this garbage either gets dumped in a landfill, which is just a big hole in the ground, or if you're really unlucky, first it's burned in an incinerator and then dumped in a landfill. Either way, They both pollute the air, land, water, and don't forget, change the climate. Incineration is really bad. Remember those toxics back in the production stage? Well, burning the garbage releases the toxics up into the air. Even worse, it makes new super toxics, like dioxin. Dioxin is the most toxic man-made substance known to science, and incinerators are the #1 source of dioxin. That means that we could stop the #1 source of the most toxic man-made substance known just by stopping burning the trash. We could stop it today. Now, some companies don't want to deal with building landfills and incinerators here, so they just export the disposal too. What about recycling? Does recycling help? Yes, recycling helps. Recycling reduces the garbage at this end, and it reduces the pressure to mine and harvest new stuff at this end. Yes, 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 we should all recycle, but recycling is not enough. Recycling will never be enough, for a couple reasons. First, the waste coming out of our houses is just the tip of the iceberg. For every 1 garbage can of waste you put out on the curb, 70 garbage cans of waste were made upstream just to make the junk in that 1 garbage can you put out on the curb. So even if we could recycle 100% of the waste coming out of our households, it doesn't get to the core of the problem. Also, much of the garbage can't be recycled, either because it contains too many toxics or it's designed not to be recyclable in the first place. Like those juice packs, where they have layers of metal and paper and plastic all smushed together, you can never separate those for true recycling. So you see, it is a system in crisis. All along the way, we are bumping up against limits. From changing climate to declining happiness, it's just not working. But the good thing about such an all-pervasive problem is that there are so many points of intervention. There are people working here on saving forests, and here on clean production, people working on labor rights and fair trade and conscious consuming and blocking landfills and incinerators, and very importantly, on taking back our government so that it really is by the people and for the people. All of this work is critically important, but things are really going to start moving when we see the connections, when we see the big picture. When people along this system get united, we can reclaim and transform this linear system into something new, a system that doesn't waste resources or people. Because what we really need to chuck is that old school throwaway mindset. There's a new school of thinking on this stuff, and it's based on sustainability and equity, green chemistry, zero waste, closed loop production, renewable energy, local living economies. It's already happening. And some say it's unrealistic, idealistic that it can't happen, but I say the ones who are unrealistic are those who want to continue with the old path. That's dreaming. Remember, that old way didn't just happen. It's not like gravity that we just got to live with. People created it, and we're people too. So let's create something new.
Interesting, Mike? Did you like it? Cool, I love it. I think it was a good thing that we had the subtitles, right? She's speaking a bit fast. This is the last part, huh? Don't worry, you will soon be able to go home. I thought that it was an important video, so it's called The Story of Stuff. And you can watch it on YouTube or wherever if you want to see it again. So quickly, some figures about waste pollution in Thailand in 2008. 15,030,000 tons of waste were produced in Thailand in 2008. 68% of those wastes were not treated properly. 68. It's enormous. That means that 68% goes there. It's just trashing land and polluting the water. It's just like, it's awful. So we won't have time to go through the vocabulary now, so I'm going to stick to do we have time for the exercise? Yeah? Okay, quickly. Again, groups. I would like you to think, how can you make a difference in terms of waste management, waste reducing in your daily life? How can you think in advance to produce less waste? Try to think every time you go shopping, every time you go eating, anytime during the day where you buy something, how can you reduce the amount of waste? Take 15 minutes in group and just try to write down a couple of points. Okay? Go. If you need more mark or more paper, hear about your answer. Who didn't speak yet? Who would like to speak on the microphone and share the answer? Anyone here? Anyone else? I think I saw who answers.
Byproduct business, packing and recycled paper, plastic and glass.
Okay, so the idea is to reduce the amount of packaging. Try to think when you go and buy something, how much packaging there is with the product you're buying. The packaging is usually it's made of plastic and it's everything to wrap the product you're buying. Do we have any other example? Here.
We will use a reusable way, use old tire to make new thing that we can use instead of something that we have to buy. It will save money and decrease production of the thing that hard to decay.
Very good, thank you. So the example here is how to recycle, how to give a second life to some products instead of just throwing it away, how to use it again. That's very good. I think we had another example. Who said something about plastic bags? There's so many of you. Plastic bags.
We bring waste such as to bottle that we don't use to artificial decoration, such as picture frame for wooden ice cream, flower pot for bottle, and bride for tool. It's beautiful and exotic and can sell, generate income for the family.
Very good. So again, here is the idea of reusing the stuff instead of discarding, instead of throwing away. Just try to find a new function, a new utility for your stuff. In that case, she was mentioning using some old plastic to do some frames for the pictures, for example. Or to use the plastic bottles to make the plants pots. You know, when you put the plants, you use the plastic bottles just to give a second life to the product. And I think we had something interesting here.
One choice of waste reduction is choose natural product. It's easy degradation and non-toxicity for health. Example, using banana leaf contains some food instead the outerwear. Moreover, it can be organic fertilizer. Therefore, using natural product can reduce elimination and reduce pollution.
Very good. Thank you very much. This last example is interesting as well, is how to think about what the product is made of. And in that sense, well, in that example, is how to use banana leaves instead of plastic containers, which are less polluting and that can even be used as fertilizer instead of just throwing it in the beans. You can use the banana leaf, you know, when it decomposes, it can give some nutriment for the soil to make the plants grow better. So quickly, to finish, why you should care as well about how you manage your waste every day in your daily life. If you don't manage it properly, you have bugs, you know, the cockroach, you have rats, man. It can be toxic for your health. Obviously, it is polluting like the environment, and it keeps tourists from coming. Yes, you've seen that picture before? Maybe not, but it's happening, it's now. It's just like, every time someone is just throwing a bottle out of the boat, it floats in the river, but it has to go somewhere. It doesn't disappear. It's not because we can't see it that it doesn't exist anymore. And that's what is terrible with plastic. The other effect is that animals are suffering from it as well. And this is the content of the stomach of this bird. It's a bit freaky when you think about it. That they eat so much plastic because they believe that plastic is their food, but they just get confused, and this plastic ends up in their stomach. Toxic as well for us, for the community, for, I guess a few of you have kids, but it will happen someday that you will have some kids, and if you don't manage waste properly, it comes with impact on your health and on the kids' health. So what can you do? Think. Keep. Never ever, please, trash the sea, forest, nature. Do not to trash. It means when you throw away your packaging, your bottles or whatever, without putting it in the bin. Please, do never do that. 7, no need for plastic bag every time you go there. When you just buy a bottle of, I don't know, green tea, you don't need to have a bag, you don't need to have a straw, you know, the thing you use to drink it. But no, you just need to drink your tea, so say no to the plastic bag. As many of you mentioned, this is a good initiative. Try to have, it's quite easy to have some of those bags with you, either in your backpack or in your motorcycle, or folded in your bag, so you can reuse it every time you go shopping. It's very easy. As we discussed earlier, if you don't really need to buy something, just don't buy it. Try to ask someone if you can borrow it from your friends, or for example, you're thinking, oh, maybe I should buy a new racket to play tennis, but I play tennis only once per month. You don't need to buy one. You can ask a friend, oh, I'm playing on Tuesday, can I have your racket? Yeah. You don't have to, it's more economical. And then it reduces as well the amount of pollution indirectly. As we discussed before throwing away, can you fix, can you repair the things? It is an important question to ask. We get used to just buy, oh, it doesn't work, throw it away, and then buy a new one. Try to see, sometimes it's quite easy. Say no to styrofoam. This is terrible. I know every time you go and buy some food, Cabana, always give those boxes. This is terrible. It's a nightmare in terms of degradation. It doesn't, you can't recycle it because it's not a good quality, but it creates a lot of pollution when you burn it. It's just terrible. So try to avoid that. Ideally, if you go shopping like for food, for example, just bring your own box. It's quite easy. I know it's a different mentality, but it's quite easy. You bring your box, they put the food in it, you bring it home, you eat, and you clean, and next time you go, you bring it again. That's the one. Those boxes. Yeah, it's just a question of thinking in advance. Oh, I'm going to order food, okay. I'm going to tell them I bring my own box. Don't accept things you don't need. You know, sometimes you walk on the street and people give you some small samples. Do you really need it? Like, sometimes there's some ridiculous things like, I don't know, they give you a pen, or even if you have 20 pens at home, you're going to take it because it's free. But do you really need it? Can you say no? Or when you have some offers at Tesco, they say, oh, if you buy 5, you have the 5th one for free. But do you need 5 of them? Maybe just 1 is enough. Okay, the 5th one will be free, but you will have to consume it. So maybe it's not worth it. For your water consumption at home, please try to avoid the small bottles. I don't know how you do now, but it's quite easy to deal with some companies, and they deliver the big containers. You just pour the water, and when it's empty, you send it back. They fill it again, they fill it again, and then you don't create any plastic waste. So please think. Every time you go shopping, please just think for a second, like, okay, I don't need that, okay, cool. So, basically the conclusion of today is that you all have a role to play in creating a better future. I know that this is not your responsibility in the sense you didn't create it, but we are all born now, more or less, and we have to do something, and we can all do something. That's the beauty of it. It's not like, oh, it's too late, okay. We can all join hands and do something, and I hope that you can start to get involved as well. Yeah, final questions? And you don't have to answer, but I really hope that this presentation today will help you think and maybe apply some of the topics we have been discussing about, and in your daily life just try to think about sustainability, about waste, about pollution, energy, water. And finally, anyone interested in learning about environmental law, I'll let you think about it. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
session. And I hope that everyone enjoy this one. Okay, yeah, they are. Okay. สำหรับ exercise ที่ทำไปนะคะเดี๋ยวมาส่งที่อาจารย์นะคะสำหรับภาคปกติที่มีกลุ่มอยู่แล้วนะคะมีnumber ของกลุ่มนี้ก็เขียนกลุ่มมานะคะ number ของกลุ่มก็ได้ใครทำที่เป็น2แผ่นไม่ต้องเขียนชื่อทั้งหมดนะคะก็เดี๋ยวมาแม็กนะคะแม็กเข้าด้วยกันนะคะใครมีคำถามอะไรไหมคะ Do you have any questions? No? Everything's all clear now. Otherwise, it's early afternoon. Okay. Okay, thank you very much for today, Mr. Benjamin and everyone who participated in this activity. Thank you.